Okay, just on record, today's gonna be a bit of a weird one. For multiple reasons. To start with, maybe I should take down my mic a bit. There we go. To start with, due to how obtuse Streamlabs has been getting lately, I figured I'd make the switch to something a little less taxing on the PC / do a bit of gimmicking with various ways to stream. So, currently, I have OBS live. I'ma hope that it's gonna work. So far it is, and it's a little less taxing, that's good. But otherwise, it's gonna take me a bit to learn everything, gimmick, figure out the things that I want to do with it, figure out the things that I can do with it. So, again, if things look rough, that's why. If I end up getting any follows in this time, and it doesn't show or what have you, or I thought the Twitch chat, which is gonna be on the right here, if that looks a little weird, that's why. Specifically because I'm meddling with Streamlabs, and I don't know how to get everything to look right quite yet. But regardless, there's also another reason. And this one is going to be the bigger point of contention, really. Like, how do I put this? When it comes to streaming and things, I tend to be very selective and careful about the games that I pick, right? More often than not, I end up picking titles that I know for certain are safe, that I know for certain will get me flagged. I don't know if that's the case for this one, specifically because it's a little more on the scale of service, if that makes sense. Granted, it makes sense for the type of game that it is, but even then, I figured I'd put that out there. There are just certain buttons that I usually don't try to mash, specifically because I have an image to maintain. An image that, yes, I'm a perv, but at the same right, not just equal opportunity, but also I don't like to hammer that home whenever possible. But with this specific title, it's unavoidable. And it's kind of interesting in that respect, because I've been wanting to take a look at Tokyo Afterschool Summoners for a while. And I had to play through a little bit of the game just so I could get a feel for it yesterday. So that should potentially explain why I have like 70 out of 19 stamina. But yeah. One of the big things about this game that I need to be careful about is just how provocative it is with some of its characters. On the medium end of the spectrum, relatively fine, for the most part. On the larger end of the spectrum, we get to my third character slot right here. Yes, I pulled gacha. I decided to roll gacha with the gems that I had. I got that boxer. And, yeah, let's not look at his junk longer than I have to. Nothing against it. I really like the art style of this game. I like how the characters are presented. But some of them are a little, you know. And that I've heard from Daniel, some of the cutscenes can be like that too, so I figure the easiest way to prevent myself from having to deal with the issue of Twitch being hypersensitive Twitch is just to try and skip story cutscenes whenever possible. And at that, limit the time that I spend playing this game, which is a shame, because it's a fairly decent game, all things considered. But with that settled, Nakamata! My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist and mature, and what the hell am I getting myself into? Answer! Well, Tokyo Afterschool Summoners is one of those games where... How do I explain this? Like, best way to explain it, what it is simultaneously puzzle battler, a la Puzzle and Dragons, and also visual novel. I don't play many visual novel type games, just on record. This happens to be one of those games that I've been wanting to put on the hit list, so to speak, as yes, I've indeed played it, and it looks interesting. Let's see here. There aren't really too many good options here. I guess I'll do that. It's not great size, but something. But yeah, again, this particular game is a lot much like Puzzle and Dragons. In that, like, you can choose to move units on the blue side of the board. You can, because you have a limited amount of time to move them, so quick at it. And your objective is to wipe all the enemies on the red side of the board as quickly as possible. As you deal damage to enemies, your characters will gain CP, more so if it's an overkill attack. When a unit caps out on CP, then they get to use a unique ability, essentially, which will help them deal more damage, cause more effects, etc., etc. There are a variety of different weapons that characters can pick from, that characters will have, and as a result, a wide range of attack types as well. My, spa doggy here, let's call him, Porco, attacks in a cross-shaped pattern in front of him. So, 1 tile, 3 tiles, 1 tile. Really great area attacker, pretty good offensive power across the board, generally a very good game. This is a very good and useful dog. Let's try that. Crap, I messed up. I should have had this guy here move back but let's see. Your position is fine. If anything, I should probably switch you. Because Lancers attack in front of them, and they're better off staying toward mid-range /back line for the best. And that's another thing that is off-putting about the game. Copious amounts of bulge. That's the most I'll say about that, just there's copious amounts of bulge. I got plenty of that in one of the cutscenes. Overall, it's a good game, just... I don't like all of the bulge everywhere. It's also relatively simple to pick up and play, too. Hello there, Daniel. How's it going? I figured I'd meddle with some mobile games, essentially. Because, like, Daniel has been recommending this to me. I've been wanting to try it myself. It's interesting. Ah, sound... Okay, if the sound audio is a little too loud, let's take that down. Let's try... here, I guess? I'ma hope that'll work. What said that? So far, I think it's okay. Let's do another check just to be safe. Okay, it's a little better. Let's hope. But yeah, like, itinerary for today, spend a little time playing this, then probably switch over to Pokemon Unite, because I wanted to get salty. But I also just woke up, so I need something to snap my mind into place, so I could actually properly think. Okay. Thank you for that, because, like, I'm also trying to switch over to using OBS Live, and this is gonna be an interesting switch. Yeah, that's a big mistake. Damn it. I keep forgetting just how few tiles characters can move. More interesting Switch than the OLED model. Yeah, like, looking at that, it's kind of disappointing, just how little changes with that. It's like, sure, slightly better refresh rate on the screen, slightly better quality, backlit, but no, I'm sorry, just the simple fact that, among other things, the Joy-Cons are still trash Joy-Cons. No. Why, Nintendo? You are an idiot. No, that's being insulting to the GBA SP. Because at least the SP, like, it's so... At least a Game Boy SP is a lot more potable and reasonable to play than the original. This being said by a person who owned one of each. Hell, I think I actually have a backup battery for the GBA SP too. Potentially. I don't know whether we still have that. I remember, like, winning one at a birthday party or something like that. I don't fully remember. Skipping story, just in case of copious bulge. Oh, cool. Bigger field. This is gonna be interesting. Red, not that much harder. Support units. But yeah, me as a person, I've been playing a decent amount of mobile RPGs. Some of them are gacha games. Disgaea RPG, I need to give special attention to, because Disgaea RPG. Really much a mixed bag. Like, on the one hand, it's nice seeing what they've done with it, but I don't know, just... I like a good turn-based game, but I feel like going full turn-based for a series that is known to be strategy RPGs is a large step back. And that tends to happen a lot with mobile games that I've noticed, at least. Because, like... And hear me out on this one. Tales of Link. Like, I used to play a lot of Tales of Link back when that was a thing, and... I like that game. But at the same rate, it's also kind of aggravating that it not only ended abruptly, but also that it was so drastically different to standard Tales of games. If anything, Tales of the Rays is a better representation of a Tales game on mobile. But even then, it's not saying much, considering how simplified the combat was of that game. Hell, like, characters barely had any arts whatsoever. I feel like when it comes to mobile RPGs and games and whatnot, also, yeah. When it comes to mobile RPGs and what have you, I swear I go through them like pairs of socks. I end up finding one, playing it for a bit, being like, oh hey, this is nice, and then I hit the limit of my bullshit barrier, because I end up being the type of person who I like RPGs, I like these types of games. I hate grinding. And so many mobile RPGs force you to do that. Like, they'll make it so that after a point, it's like, oh hey, guess what? Even if you have decent units, you need to hyper grind them up to like 90% of their cap level in order for them to be viable. And it's just, ugh! It's pain. It's pain. It's pain. You two are still alive. You gotta be kidding me. You know what? Fancy one. Hell, like, I'm actually kind of burning out on Disgaea RPG. Specifically because of that very reason. That it's kind of getting stale. It's like, okay, every couple of weeks we get a new event, but the event is structured the exact same way as every other event previous. And the experience starts to get stale after a while. Not to mention, in order for units to be decent, you have to constantly reincarnate them, constantly gain XP for them, and after a point that becomes incredibly difficult because that requires a lot of materials that you need to grind out. It requires a lot more XP gates to go through, it requires a lot more stamina, and sure, it is fairly plentiful in that since I started, like, at the very beginning of the RPG, I have at least 500 stamina pots that I could just burn through whenever I want to. But at the same rate, why would I play that game when I could, say, play, I don't know, Trials of Mana, or something that doesn't require as much grinding in order to actually make characters decent. It's why I quit Arknights, it's why I quit Tales of the Rays, it's why I quit... To an extent, actually, it's why I quit Genshin recently. Though that one is more on Chinese propaganda, government being Chinese propaganda and government. That's a mess. That one especially is an egregious mess. Let's see. You're good there. Yeah, there's not really too much I can do. gonna need to consider powering up a couple of these units already. Specifically... Actually, do I have any materials for you? Yeah, fire material. It also doesn't help that a good chunk of these RPGs tend to be very formulaic and by the books. You gotcha for a unit, yay, you get the units. They're kind of weenie at start, they eventually get better. Pump them full of materials until they're less pants. And there tends not to be too much variation between games for that. Yeah, unfortunately. Sometimes you can find some decent ones that don't force you to run materials through them like electricity through wires. Because I remember, according to what my sister mentions of Fate Go, you really don't need to do too much grinding on that one, because even pants units are still fairly good. Yeah, not a great move. Specifically because of you up there. That's you. Maced. At that, like, I remember Tales of Link being somewhat forgiving too, because there was a lot of variety in how you could specifically structure teams. Part of that ends up being because it required like entire teams of 9 units. And some of the community units that you got in that one were fairly good. Some of the event units were disgusting, and you didn't have to gotcha too much in order to make things work. You could still gotcha, and you could still get some ridiculous units like that, but you didn't have to. And I feel like that's the best move that a mobile RPG like this can do. Make it so that as many units as possible are viable and fairly decent across the board to work with. While also offering you the gotcha to help make things even more worth it faster. Yeah, let's move you over, just so I can area those 3 on the side. Shift you up and block. Deep damage. Okay, so I think what I want to do here is move middle upper to the right. Decent, but not great. Yeah, my options aren't looking good here. I could move my Lancer up. just so you can take a photo. I'll take out 2 of you. Don't die. Then... yeah, I'm just gonna have to hope that I can shell out enough damage. Fuck. Okay, good. Didn't lose the unit. So in that case, you need to move over just in case of issues. And there we go. Should probably talk about a couple more things that have been happening lately. Other than trying to make the switch to OBS live. I think I mentioned already that it's gonna take me a bit longer to, like, update Remem, specifically because I haven't been able to work on too much of it. Right side though, I have, like, I've got a good idea in mind for what I want to do for the next line of units to introduce. Surge breakers. Let's see. Yeah, like, I originally thought about... I could discuss it here, considering it's not going to be too much longer until I update for that, hopefully. Like, I had an idea that I want to do a bunch of semi-mechanical units, but I found out pretty quickly I can't seem to properly draw machines, and that's weird. Because, like... okay, granted, I'm not a great artist across the board, but even still, I'd like to think that I can draw some things well, and somehow, I guess, machines are just one of those things that I can't do. Which is kind of annoying. On the bright side though, even if I can't, like, draw machines all that well, I was still able to get something to work to help represent how Surge Breakers works. And I came up with a terrible idea. Hemi-insects. I figure if I'm going to introduce a new race anyway of units, then I might as well try to get a little creative with it. So I figure I'd try my hand at a bunch of hemi-insects, essentially. There is one exception to that specific family, that being the family head. And by the look of it, I apparently don't have all of them on the computer quite yet. Oh well. But I can at least show off 2 of them, I think. So as one sample, this one's incomplete. Because I need to, like, add a jet of fire to help represent it. This one is codenamed Surgebreaker Immolation, but I think I went with Heat Sink at the end. And Surgebreaker Powerbank, which I'm probably going to be memeing. Specifically because I accidentally created Innocent Face and Dad Ass. I hate myself.